Tonight we're here for a number of good causes. One is to present the recipient for the Good Scout Award. The Good Scout Award recognizes community leaders whose personal and professional careers have had an impact on the youth in our town and our community. I can tell you firsthand from being personal friends with this year's honoree that you will not find an individual that is by example more committed to making this positive impact on our youth. Through his dedication to youth sports, charitable organizations like Hope for Children, which was mentioned earlier on, that has helped just a ton of kids through really tough times of illness and just hard times. Not to mention his extreme commitment to this great town that we all call home. Eric, I think we all agree that he certainly exemplifies the spirit of the Scout Oath, which I've recently learned what it was today. Well, so without further ado, I'm going to tell you, let's welcome up our favorite committee men, township committee men, my dear friend, Eric Hinds.
He's a good man, that Anthony Pesce. Keep him around. So I've had the real pleasure of spending the last 18 years of my life in Homedale. I've been happily married for nearly 20 years to the love of my life, Karen Hinds, and we've been able to raise 3 children in this town, Homedale. In a lot of ways, I've lived the dream. My job with the wonderful partners that I have has allowed me to do the things that I love to do. I get to coach my kids and other kids in the sports that I love. I get to spend time giving back with Hope for Children, a charity that many of you here are involved with, that we've spent the last dozen years raising $2.5 million to give out to all those in Monmouth County. And I've spent the last 6.5 years doing everything I can to be a public servant, whether it's a deputy mayor, mayor, committeeman in town. You can't do all those things without finding yourself in jams sometimes. You're running from the field, back to the town, back to work, on the phone, and sometimes that creates problems. One of the fun things you get to do as mayor, you get to marry people. And sometimes when you're running around, I literally left a husband and wife at the altar once. I did that once. One time I was running so fast, I got there on time, but I forgot to zip up my fly. That's a true story. Wondering why the bride kept looking, but it was fun. But through all that, one of the really fun things that happened is my wife got very used to me running in and out, and I'm back in 10 minutes, I'm back in 5 minutes, and I said, I gotta go do an Eagle Club proclamation, I'll be right back. And she's like, okay, all right. And I came back like about an hour and a half later, and my wife knows me, I don't really stay anywhere for an hour and a half, and she said, what are you doing? I'm like, you know, Cap, I gotta tell you, I was just blown away. She's like, well, what are you blown away about? I'm like, you know, I sat up there and I just heard stories about what these Eagle Scouts have done in our town, the projects that they do. And you got to know the kids and understand what they're doing to make our town better. And it was one of those moments that really just hit home. And I started to, you know, I joke all the time, I say, I stopped doing the weddings, you know, 50% end in failure anyway, so I stopped doing them. I said, I'm gonna do all the Eagles that I can get. I wanna spend more time with the Scouts. And I don't know how I missed this as a parent, but when you think about what they're teaching, and they did it real quick, and I brought my little trust sheet, but I want you to think about these words: trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, reverent. How would you like to have that described in your children How'd you like to have that described in your coworkers or who you deal with every single day? How would you like to have anyone describe it? Over 100 years ago, this Scouts program was started, and how relevant is this today? How bad do we need this today? Yeah, I know that every second and third grader can do a PowerPoint presentation, but are we teaching leaders? I walked down the other day and my son was playing video games with like 9 kids on a cell phone, like 4 screens. The technology's there, but are we really talking about these things? And I don't know. It's one of those moments where I said to my wife, what do we do to teach leadership? Well, the least that I can do is support an organization that to me is not just hoping that we're creating leaders, they're leading by example. And if those principles is what they're doing, I'm on board. But Jeff came to me and he said, listen, we really like you to be the Good Scout. And it's a true honor. It really is, Jeff, and from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. But I also know that I've been doing fundraising a long time, and I know what that means to be an honoree. It means I'm going to tap the shoulder of every friend and family and business person that I know, and you're going to have to come out on a Wednesday night and thank you. Some of you drove from the south, from the north, and gave money, and you give your time, and it's a Wednesday night, and I know how many people got other things to do, and I can't thank you enough. See, because even though I believe with everything I have and all my heart that the Scouts is helping produce a next generation of leaders, all of that made me think and just stopped for a second and said, Jeff, let me just think about it. And then he stopped and he said, yeah, because also on that night we're going to give a scholarship out in the name of Dylan Vassallo. Well, I stopped thinking at that moment. And I said, you have me a Dylan, pal. So I've known the Vassallo family since I moved into Homedale 18 years ago. And I've thought longer and harder than I often do, when I decided how I wanted to say this. And this is the only way I know how to say it to you, to the entire Vassallo family. It is an honor, a true honor, to be connected with your son tonight. There's nothing more for me to say. The kindness challenge and what you've done to continue his legacy, I appreciate. And I know you said something to me very powerful, Dennis. You said there's maybe no more good days. There's bad days and terrible days. I hope tonight is tolerable. I love you. I appreciate everyone coming out here tonight. Thank you very much. It means the world. Thank you.